Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Very Easy League presented by Metal Gear Speedrunners. We have our last match of Week 7 featuring MackMcD versus MayuuChaan. I will be doing solo commentary. My name is DLimes13, and in just a few moments we will get this going. So it should be a pretty exciting race. Yeah, it should be a good time. Just going to confirm that the runners are ready, and then we will go from there. As we hear a wonderful cat in the background. And away they go. So, MackMcD. He has been around the block before. He has run this game for the last few years. Former world record holder. He is one of the pioneers of very easy PC. He was running it in the days where it was somewhat of a meme or a joke to run. But he kind of refined the route and solidified it, and was an inspiration for a lot of the modern day runners. It certainly was for me, at least. Like I said, a former world record holder at 104.56. He's held it multiple times. He now has a personal best of 103.03. So a very respectable time, and he can definitely get to a 102. Mayu is a little bit newer to the scene. Just started running this, so maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. Has a personal best of 106.11. Definitely has the skills to get like a 104. She just has to put a consistent run together. I think her biggest issue is just somewhat of consistency. And this is the battle of the winless. Both of these participants are winless in League. Somebody's going to walk away with their first win. And Mac gets the... Oh, they both get the quick shot left Olga. Really weird. So this could end up being really good or really bad, depending on how it's handled.
We've shared everything.
Olga goes front for Mac. Goes back for Mayu. Excellent from MackMcD to get a good time out of that. Same with Mayu. Very, very good stuff. That Olga is somewhat of a troll. If you get the quick shot right away, some runners tend to panic, and it can end up being a lot of time loss, but very well executed by both. Neither of them get the David Wildstar or Dav drop animation cancel. So now they're going to make their way down to the engine room. Not a whole lot going on here for the next minute-ish. The little noise you keep hearing on Mac's feed is his turbo function. It was recently discovered that turbo is actually built into VSFix if you just edit an INI file. And over the course of the run, it saves around 15 to 20 seconds just because you get perfect codecs, perfect cutscenes, and you don't have any variance when it comes to that. It levels the playing field to a degree, so whenever he turns on or off his turbo, you hear that little da-ding da-doon. And both of them are going for the 1974 strat engine room. No swag strat here. Trank the guard and then roll down the stairs. There's a slightly faster method you could do where you just jump down in front of the guard at the start, eventually get a caution, and then you skip this cutscene that Mac is entering now. Saves roughly a second. A little close on the sensor for Mac.
Repair at the entrance.
Alright, neither of them blew up the ship. That's good.
Bridge checkpoint passed.
Pretty competitive start so far.
All non-essential personnel report to the holds in 10 minutes time for the scheduled briefing session with the Commandant. You are ordered to continue manning your posts until that time.
Now Mac is gonna go up in this guard's face and basically just trank him right before he would get an alert. And Mayu is going to do the same thing. So they both do 1974 strats, but Mac gets the alert and gets kicked. That's going to be a fair time loss. It gets kicked again, so that's Mayu with the lead. Just like that. Yeah, getting alert in deck 2 can be very demoralizing. It can lead to a ton of time loss, as you saw there. So guard rush coming up. 7 total guards, 4 in the first wave, 3 in the last wave. Typically want to USP all of them, that way they can get through their death animations quicker. And Max is just a touch cleaner. It's like Mayu had trouble with one of the guards, and the lead has now flipped, thanks to guard rush. So, the holds. The holds are scary as hell. We've seen so many issues in League when it comes to holds. Ladder glitches, projectors, getting caught, like, it... I'm just gonna shush and see what happens. Alright, clean hold 1 for Mac. Oh, Mayu fails ladder glitch. Didn't fail it where she has to take and continue. She just didn't execute it fully, so she just does like a half ladder glitch. Alright. Otherwise a fairly clean hold 1 as well, just a little bit of time loss. Mac in hold 3 doing 2 spot photos. Mayu has a clean hold 2. Mac should have all of his photos. So the separation is really just the failed ladder glitch at this point. Mayu going for the little, more traditional, safer 3-spot photo approach. Alright, Mac is out of tanker. That's Monka on the Marines lettering. Yeah, I'm not sure about that Marines lettering for Mayu. Alright, out of tanker. So now we're going to be into the plant section. So for the first few minutes, it's basically just a bunch of tutorials and cutscenes to deal with, codecs, up until we get to the start of the bomb disposal section. So not really a whole lot going on here. You just have to be mindful of your codecs and cutscenes, your timing and all that, and turning turbo on or off if you're using that. So it's kind of a little bit of a break. Oh, Mac's a female! What? Oh, the female run. Oh boy. I've done that before. It's an interesting feeling. And Mac is going back to get the M9. You really don't need to do this. It's somewhat of a meme. Since you have to wait for the elevator to come down anyway. And those bad cartwheels don't matter. Since you have to wait for the elevator to come down anyway, you might as well just do something while you're waiting. Some runners actually grab that extra ammo off to the right. It does make the timing just a little bit tighter if you do that. Cutscene came really late for Mac for some reason. So I believe both players ended on USP to end tanker. What this will do is it'll enable a menu trick to be performed where you can just quick equip the M9 at the start of plant. And then if you unequip it before the Pliskin cutscene, you can then quick equip it again after the Stillman cutscene, just to save on a menu, basically. Mayu opting not to do the cartwheel to prone there, taking it just a little safe. So Mack is going to trank this guard, hopefully unequip, and he does. So he'll have the menu trick for Stellman, and then he can just tap R2 to quick equip the M9. So you're going to be seeing a lot of cartwheels here in plant. Cartwheels save about 5/100ths of a second if executed perfectly. Having a bad cartwheel or bonking into a wall can lose over a second. You do want to be mindful of your cartwheels. Now there's a couple different ways you can do bomb disposal. You can do the traditional clockwise route where we go from strut C to D to E and so on. Or you can do what's relatively new called the conveyor belt route, where we go counterclockwise and pick up a couple boxes along the way and then ride the conveyor belt to go from strut to strut. I don't think neither one of these competitors will do that. I think we'll see the traditional clockwise route out of both. Mack quick equipping his M9, and he's going to go traditional. Yeah, so a traditional route is just one bomb on each of the struts, 6 total bombs. Getting caught doesn't matter a whole lot except in strut A, because the alert's clear whenever you leave the room. And dying isn't really much of a concern since their bullets pretty much just tickle you on very easy.
Who's there? Who's there?
So Matt crouched there to get a fast bomb. If you get a fast bomb where you spray the bomb at a certain angle or get it on most of the surfaces, you can save half of the bomb, like defusal time. Normally it's 2.5 seconds, but you cut that in half if you can defuse it quickly. Not all bombs can be fast bombs, only certain ones like that, and a couple others. But it can definitely add up over the course of a run. Mayu doing the same thing. So despite the issues, not all that far behind, and there's still a lot of things that can flip the lead just like that. He's definitely keeping it competitive. Yeah, so the heliport bomb can be a little tricky if you don't get close enough to that bomb, which we've seen a fair amount of people do that, or they bonk into the Harrier missiles and have to get back into position. It can be a little awkward to do that. Mayu getting ready to approach her bomb as well. So Mack on the EF bridge, you can do a few different things. You can try to damage cancel the Claymore mines that are here. You can just go around and play it safe like Mack did. You can pick up a Claymore mine. A few different ways to do that bridge, but that's the safest method. That's what a fair amount of people still do. Mack having a little trouble with the coolant there. Just double tapped R2 a little too much.
There's somebody there.
Oop. Mack gets shot once, just was slightly out of position to trank that guard, but not too big of a deal. Mayu defusing her strut F bomb a little bit faster than Mac with the menu kerfuffles. Strut A can definitely be tricky because you have to do a bunch of coolant rises where you start to stand up and then you equip the coolant and unequip the coolant again to try to cancel Raiden's rise animation. It's just a really tricky area with weird angles. It can definitely lose you time if you're not careful.
It's the enemy. I need help.
So they're basically about a room apart. Maybe 30-ish seconds, give or take. Maybe 30, 35. But a lot of stuff later on. You got Fat Man, you got Harrier, Ames. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that can flip this lead. Maybe Mac will go the wrong way. Who knows? We've seen him do that in League. Ooh, and Mayu is having a little trouble defusing this bomb. It's a particular spot to defuse that bomb from behind. The game wants you to crawl under the pipes and just go like around and get in front of the bomb. That's why one of the pipes is actually marked red as kind of like a direction. But with a particular lineup at a particular spot, we can defuse the bomb from behind and save a fair bit of time. One little tiny optimization that was discovered recently was defusing this bomb first and then picking up Sensor B. I was watching King of the Bees do this in Very Easy League back in May, or Very Easy Tournament back in May. I questioned it because we all used to go the other way. Turns out that this saves about 3/4 of a second due to a codec delay. When you exit to the BC connecting bridge, you don't get such codec delay when you do it this way, so you save almost a full second. And if you know Very Easy by now, it is full of little time saves, little optimizations that can make the world of difference. This is where movement matters, menus matter, all the little stuff really adds up in a category like this. Super, super important. You can actually cartwheel into Sensor B there. It's kind of a weird angle to do that. And if you miss it, you're losing about a second. It's risk for very little reward. And Mac is heading down to defuse the first Mega Bomb and begin his Fortune fight here in a moment. So with Fortune coming up, there is a little bit of RNG involved. We do a particular punch buffer at the start to eliminate some of that RNG. There used to be a lot of variance in this fight before that punch buffer because sometimes she would cooperate, sometimes she wouldn't. And I'll explain more once Mac gets there. But it's definitely not an auto-scroller. You gotta be on your toes. Oh, beautiful frame one by Mac. Answered the codec call immediately. Alright, so Mac is going to do a punch buffer at the start. 3 punches to the right, and then crouch. The crouch is very important. You want Fortune to blow up the forklift as fast as possible, and then eventually shoot you, shoot the lights, and then you would go towards the front of the room, bait her to shoot the wooden boxes, and then eventually the barrels on the left and right side of the room at the front. But there is some variance when it comes to her firing rate, how often she fires, and other factors. It's only a couple seconds, whereas before it used to be 7 or 8 seconds of variance. But if you don't get that buffer at the start, you could be losing 20, 30 plus. You gotta sort of speak and just do things very, very slowly. Mayu gets her punch buffer to start with. Should be a decent fight. Matt coming up to the end of his. Seems like a good fight. Yeah, based on the music, that was actually a pretty good fortune. If I don't have a timer going, I tend to listen to the music and judge if it was a good fight or not. Oh, excellent. Excellent pickup by Mac there. Damage cancels one of the Claymore mines and picks up those all-important chaff grenades. You can do the route without getting any chaff grenades. It's a little trickier to execute. It really doesn't lose much, if any, time. The chaff grenades are just more of a safety net for some.
It's the enemy. I need help.
And Mayu just ending her fortune fight. Seemed like a fairly decent fight. And they are now both on their way to Fat Man. So Mac is going to pick up a Claymore there. Most runners pick up a Claymore there for Shell 1 B2 for a strategy later on. I'm not sure if Mac does it. But either way, it does give you better lines for later. And you don't have to worry about blowing yourself up with that Claymore. So, Fat Man coming up for Mac. He will be going for a lethal setup with the SOCOM. There is a non-lethal setup you can do with the M9. It is slightly faster if executed properly, but it is crazy hard to execute. Gets a fast bomb at the start. 3 shots to knock him down, 2 headshots, and then rinse repeat for 1 more cycle. And mediocre RNG, you really want Fat Man to go south. So he lost roughly about 6 seconds to an ideal fight, so not the best. Ooh, that's not gonna be enough, is it? No, he has to re-pick up Fat Man. That's a ton of time loss. Jeez. Yeah, you gotta move him just a bit. Just a bit. That just wasn't enough the first time. So, an opportunity for Mayu to gain a little bit of time here. So it doesn't get the fast bomb there. She'll be going for lethal as well. And going for the newer setup. Very nice. Gets a slow bomb, unfortunately. I think Fat Man's gonna... Okay, he's not gonna run away. Alright, gets okay RNG. You still want him to ideally go south. And it's gonna be too close for the fast bomb as well. So, equivalent fights for the most part. But Mayu's probably going to save a couple seconds here thanks to getting the pickup first try. So, like I said before, there are Claymore mines on the EF bridge. Whenever you go to the Shell 1 core, when you get to the little pillar, you should always hold down left on the D-pad. If you don't hold down left on the D-pad, you're just an idiot. Never use analog there. Don't be like Platonic Guy.
Yo, what are you doing?
Alright, looks like Mac is not gonna do the Claymore strat. I think we will see it out of Mayu, though. I'll explain it once she gets there. This is more of a 1974 approach. Ooh, that's bad. He's got to kill the guards. I think. Maybe not. He has to, like, wait. He has to wait. Okay, that... Alright, that's fine. That could have been really, really bad. And he gets a fast elevator, so it's not too bad, actually. We probably didn't lose much of any time because of that. Oop. A little trouble picking up the AK for Mayu. A little trouble with the guard there as well for Mayu, so... Few issues. Alright, the next element of RNG is aims. For MackMcD. Aims can be in one of like 20 some odd places in the room. And, ooh, it's near God aims. That's one of the best spots you can get. Very, very nice. Very well executed. Well, RNG is not really execution, but you know what I mean. So, Mayu did opt for the Claymore strat, where you basically lay down a Claymore at the start. The attack team guards will basically investigate the elevator, keeping the elevator door open. And it is generally faster than just relying on elevator RNG.
I have an unknown target here.
Now Mayu coming up to her aims. She's gonna need a good aims if she's gonna want to keep pace. It's the Jennifer spawn. Alright, it's a southeast. That's not too bad, but it is going to lose time over max aims. Two relatively good aimses. But the mega fight is coming up with the Harrier. Harrier can have a lot of variance depending on if you miss shots or get low damage shots. We've seen people lose 30, 40 seconds here in League and just in general, just in runs. Harrier can be brutal. Mac is going to likely go for the 5+1 setup, 5 shots at the start. And then an extra shot as he's doing the flyover over strut G. Mayu's going to go for a little different approach. I think the 2+6 setup. 2 shots at the start. And then try to get more shots as the Harrier flies over. But first, we have the underrated sensors. We haven't seen very many people blow up the bridge. Ooh, he nearly did there. Yikes, he's trying to go super fast. Jeez. And then he equips the chaff grenades for better menus later. Alright, let's see what he gets. One, two, three. Low damage 5 shots, so not the greatest. It's going to lose at least 11 seconds. He needs ammo for Vamp later, but he can come back and get it here in a second. Oh, and he doesn't get his die shots. Oh, that's really bad. That's unfortunate. He just missed time skipping that cutscene. Again, he didn't pick up the stinger pack next to him. Alright, so not the best Harrier. Maybe an opportunity for Mayu to gain some time. Alright. Clears Leap of Faith. Oh! Oh! Mayu hits a bird! She pulls a JoJo. Just zoom in. Just zoom in. Oh, no. No, no, no. Oh, man. That's super unfortunate. I think that's only the third one we've seen in League. That's really unfortunate. The bird just ruined all the timing. Stupid birds.
Encountered the enemy requesting backup.
I think Mac almost fell off there and did the D-Lime special. Alright, let's see this Harrier from Mayu. Be 1, 2 shots at the start. And then she'll wait for the Harrier to fly away. And then try to get more shots as the Harrier approaches and then flies over. Ooh, and she gets some really funky RNG. The Harrier did some weird movement there. Like, what was that? She does get her die shots. I think she only has 1 shot left. Well, this could end up being a better Harrier than Mac, but the continue is really gonna put her in a bind. So yeah, decent Harrier. Alright, Mayu clears Leap of Faith. Perimeter can definitely be a little tricky. There's a lot of little pitfalls, a lot of little opportunities to make mistakes. Good Nikita pickup from Mac. It's a big hitbox, but it's also a deceiving hitbox. Another fast elevator from Mac. Very nice.
What are you doing?
All right. Good Nikita from Mac. Fun fact, it takes 2 Nikita missiles on Very Easy to kill the president. It is very hard to kill the president on Very Easy. Only a fool would kill the president on Very Easy.
I took these photos.
Now, I think the golden question now is, would Mac go for Swim Glitch with this kind of a lead? I want to say he might, but especially since he has Turbo, it is a lot easier to do Swim Glitch with Turbo. But there's also really no reason to risk it at this point. The lead is, it's fairly significant. And I'm pretty sure Mayu doesn't do Swim Glitch yet. But yeah, let's see what Mac does. Mac is a veteran. He can definitely do Swim Glitch. Just a matter if he wants to or not. Oh, he's going to do it. Screw it. He's all in. Oh, that's not a good start. Abandon? He's going to ban. Alright, that is the correct call. Like, the terrible, terrible start to Swim Glitch. He said, screw it, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to lose a bunch of time. I'm just going to cut my losses and just move on and swim normally. That is good. I respect that. Abandoned ship. They only lost probably 4 seconds instead of losing 30 plus. But he's got Vamp coming up. He does not have enough stingers for Turbo Vamp. He did not pick up the extra stinger pack. So I wonder if he's aware of this. If he starts spamming away, he could be losing time on this fight. Oh, he checked. He checked. Alright, he got it. He got it. He checked, and he's like, alright, I gotta do this instead. He lost a couple seconds from, like, getting set up and stuff, but better than losing 57. I'll tell you that. Yeah, at this point, it's going to take an awful lot for Mayu. So Mac is doing everybody's favorite part of the game, the Emma escort section. The game really slows down to this point because you got to drag this little girl out at a snail's pace. And it's just a fun time. Like I'm having so much fun watching this. Alright, coming up on the vamp fight for Mayu. We'll see how she does. Oh, misses the last shot. But not terrible. This will net lose like about 5 seconds. Alright, so not terrible. She knew that she didn't have to take a continue just because of missing the last shot. She gets the quicker ending, which cuts her losses just a little bit. So all in all, you lose 5-6 seconds by missing a shot. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, and also excellent awareness not to clean out her stingers, because she didn't have that many. She only had 11 to start. He ended up with 3 for that last shot, so not too bad. I'm pretty sure Mac will do the Emma bump here. Yep. Little indecisive on that bump. But still okay. Not too bad. PC, there's really not a chance to soft lock the game. If you do this on the HD collection of the game, Emma has a tendency to just fall through the level. Once you get outside, she basically falls into the ocean. And you're soft locked. You can't take a death. You can't do anything to get her back. Your run is just dead. If you do that in a race, you lose. But on PC, we've never seen that happen. I think I've heard of one report of it happening, but I've never seen it personally. Generally, everybody bumps. Bumping her through the load zone saves about 3 seconds. It's pretty significant. And Mayu just finishing up the swim section for her part of the escort. She'll be navigating Emma through the Shell 2 core here in a moment as MackMcD enters sniping and gently hugs Emma into the ladder area. So, sniping section, it's the closest thing to an auto-scroller that we have. You do have to do a few things here. Take out some ciphers, take out some guards, make sure Emma doesn't get spotted, and try to not let Emma fall. The biggest thing you can do is not look in her direction, and more importantly, don't zoom. Because if she does fall, you'll lose roughly 7 seconds. And that's just painful. And Mayu does her bump successfully. Once Emma gets past the first pillar, she really doesn't fall, so it's really just this first part that you have to be wary about your zooming and stuff like that. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. You can fall later, but it's so rare. So rare. Raiden's on fire! Max showing off that good old turbo. So while we have both competitors at the sniping section, I do want to remind you this is Very Easy League presented by Metal Gear Speedrunners. This is the last match of Week 7. We will be on a bye week for a Thanksgiving week. We will return on December the 3rd. That is a Thursday night. We broadcast matches every week on the MGS2 channel on Thursday night, starting at around 6 Eastern. 4 weeks left in League, concluding on January the 7th. We have 11 players over 11 weeks playing 10 games. Top 8 make the playoffs. We'll have a 3-week playoff to determine the ultimate champion of VE League. And if you want to watch any of those matches, we have some matches, like we said, broadcasted on our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Metal Gear Speedrunners. You can find links for that in the description below. And some matches like these are broadcasted inside of our Discord, which you can also find at the links below. So feel free to join the Discord just to hang out if you want to learn to speedrun any of these games, or just to gawk or whatever. We'd love to have you. Yeah, Week 8 definitely has some juicy matchups coming. Probably the match of the year is going to be myself versus Platonic Guy. Basically 1 versus 2. As far as leaderboards, as far as the standings, as far as just everything in this game. It's going to be epic for sure. And we have Apache and Plywood next week, Makarov and MackMcD next week. There's all sorts of good matches. Like, week 8 is really, really going to be exciting. Oh, why you shoot the sun? The sun didn't do anything. Alright, don't blink, but we have the Vamp 2 fight coming up for Mac. Like I said, literally don't blink. So, that's the fight. Tap left as little as you can, and just spam away into his body. You can do a one-shot kill and get a headshot off, but it's just faster if you just spam into him that way. The headshot can be a little awkward. Oh, I think Mac was going for stair glide and just held square a little too early. So there's this really new tech called stair glide that you can go for if you have turbo on. It's kind of like a Dave Wildstar drop where if you hold or mash square, you can skip the fall animation. If you hold or mash square as you start stairs, you can actually skip like a couple of the stairs. But the only issue is that it locks your direction whenever you're mashing or holding square. So and that's what Mac did. He just held it too early and he just was running into a wall forever. And that was found by I think somebody named Major Zero. So I think. I'm not sure who found it.
It's been a while, hasn't it, Jack the Ripper?
You know this fellow?
You remember me, don't you? You've grown. High concentration of cerebral implants. Have they altered your memory, too?
It must have altered my memory, because I don't know who invented stair glide. Anyway, Mac in Arsenal gear, entering endgame. Arsenal can be a little tricky when you get to the Jejunum part. You don't want to get an alert there, because you can lose a ton of time just by getting shot, or missing the gap that you have to cartwheel over. And we're going to call Rose here just to expedite us getting out of torture. She'll eventually call you, but it's obviously faster to call her. Mayu just finishing her Vamp 2 fight, and she'll be heading to Arsenal gear shortly.
Is there somebody there?
Yeah, very important that you answer these codec calls as soon as they come in. Otherwise, your timing is going to be off. Alright, Matt cartwheels into the guard. Good. And clears that gap. That gap is harder than it looks to clear. And if you miss that gap, you're losing a bare minimum of 11 seconds. Alright, Mayu's gonna make it to the core successfully, and she will enter Arsenal gear. In Ascending Colon, you just have to answer codec calls, total of 6. You don't want to be too far north, you don't want to be too far south. Otherwise, Coda calls will either not come in, or they'll just continue to come in forever. And now the game wants you to learn how to use the high frequency blade. So you have to swipe here at least once to start a 45-second timer. You also have to be north of where you spawn at the end of the 45 seconds, otherwise you will not progress. So if you're hanging out down south for too long, you will lose time. Yeah, that's okay.
What are you thinking?
So Tengu 1 coming up for MackMcD. He's basically going to kill Tengus as he's running towards to the end of the room, and then do a skip at the end of the room called the Tengu 1 skip. Punch, punch, kick against the door, and then at the kick he'll let go of first person to basically skip the fight. He basically touches the load zone and then just skips the fight. Alright, very good. Not too bad. See how Mayu does with her Jejunum. Issue on the menus. Mayu's gonna play it safe. And she gets a Jejunum gap, so... Mac doing Tengu 2, there's no skip for this on the lower difficulties, there is on the higher difficulties. This is the ideal / best wig spot to stand. Makes it easier to get these Tengus as they're coming down. But you just want to take out these Tengus, all 48 of them, as fast as possible. And hopefully Snake cooperates and helps you. So if one lingering Tengu, lost a couple seconds there, so not the worst, not the worst. And now we get to wait here for 90 seconds while Solidus talks about gobbledygook before the Metal Gear Ray fight. Mayu's just learning how to use her blade.
Reproduce Solid Snake, the perfect warrior. The result is a Foxhound Commando. When Foxhound no longer exists, a simulated Solid Snake shaped by VR regimen. Sound like someone you know, Jack? I'm sorry to see you reduced to one of the Patriots' puppets. But I've made use of you, and their plan too. Solid Snake's sudden appearance, your arrival. It was obvious the Patriots were among my ranks. I had to smoke out the agent before the mission entered the final phase. You came in handy, as bait. Jack, those days during the Civil War were as real as they come.
Alright, and Tengu 1 for Mayu.
Split between life and death.
Gonna hang towards the left side as most runners do.
You've been led back to war by something less than real.
We'll see how Mac handle his Ray fight. Ray fight is very quick on, very easy, so do not blink. Goes for the safer approach, goes middle, left, right. You can do... Oh, and he shoots too early on one shot. Mayu gets her Tengu 1. There is a slightly faster strategy for Rays that involves doing middle, right, then left. The timing is very, very tight. It saves a little over a second, but if you miss it, you're losing about 5. Mayu doing the Bestwick Tengu 2 as well. A little farther back probably than what you'd like to be, but this should work fine. Torture here, not much of an issue on very easy. It only lasts about 10 seconds. And since most players use turbo now, it's even less of a
What do
concern.
you hope to hear? You know he doesn't know anything.
It's not him I want the answers from.
Alright, Solidus fight coming up for Mr. McD, the last section of the game. That's Tengu 2 for Mayu. So Solidus, you're going to swipe at him 3 times. They'll shoot missiles at you. Rinse or repeat 3 times to get to phase 2. 1, 2, 3. You want to be far away, that way he does shoot the missiles toward you. And then you want to get away as far as possible, that way he can do like a short dash, and he does.
Good work, Jack. But this
Second phase, there's a little bit of RNG. He can just run around for 3 or 4 cycles or dash towards you immediately. And that's bad RNG. That's really bad RNG. 1 more cycle, and this will be time for Mac. Oh, I think he went for a parry or something there. That's time for Mac.
Do you remember this place?
Of course.
GG to Mr.
This is where we
McD.
first met. I remember now.
Mayu executes her raise perfectly. And now she's coming up to her Solidus fight. So, kept it competitive for the most part. They both had their fair share of mistakes.
I admit that I underestimated you.
That will be MackMcD's first win of league. It's amazing that he started 0-5, but he had a tough stretch. He had a tough schedule to start with, but with the schedule down the stretch and his opponents coming up, I'm looking ahead a little bit, and he's gonna get some wins. He could sneak into the playoffs as the last seed, despite the 0-5 start. We'll see. And Mayu's still gonna have her opportunities as well. Not a lot left, but still gonna have opportunities. There's only 11 players, so top 8 make the playoffs. Alright, Solidus for Mayu, same thing. Swipe, swipe, swipe. A little trouble there. Oh, and she unfortunately gets the long dash out of Solidus, which loses about a second. Just wasn't in the correct position. And that is time for Mayu. Well, GG to both.
Do you remember this place?
Of course. This is where we first met. I remember now. Today is the day I met you.
That's it.
I think I found something to pass along to the future.
What?
So all matches will go to the score screen for scoring purposes.
Live on.
Um,
Talking about the
so we have to watch the 9.5 minutes of credits to get to that score screen.
There are two
So we're just going to chill out here for a few minutes and just relax.
It's up to us to teach that to our children
what kind of things?
about the environment, our ideas, our culture, poetry, compassion, sorrow, joy. We'll tell them everything together.
Is that a proposal?
This is for your ears only.
All right, and with some of the DMCA stuff going around and copyright and all that, we're just gonna go ahead and mute the music, unfortunately. But so we'll be back with you here in a few minutes for the score screens, and we'll see. All right, we are coming up on the score for Mr. McD. I guessed a 103.44. Was close. I was close. That's not a bad time. 103.37. Pretty good time. Yeah, that is his best time of VE League so far. He's hit a 103 in week 2. But yeah, very, very good stuff for sure. Yeah, Mac is definitely gonna be getting a 102 here very soon. About another minute or so on Mayu, and then we'll wrap this broadcast up. All right, my guess for this was a 106.38. We'll see how close my guess is. Mayu's PB is a 106.11, so we shall see. Maybe? Maybe 105? We'll see. $106.23, very close to PB, so not bad at all. But so that's gonna do it for this edition of Very Easy League Week 7. We will return on Thursday, December 3rd on the MGSR Twitch channel. You can find links in the description below, and wherever you are in the world, good night, good day. Thank you for watching.